we experienced the most magical northern lights ever. Like, it's actually 15 minutes away from London. I wish we knew these things earlier, so our trip would have been even more comfortable. Hi guys, this is Sanjana Tippeswamy, Ellarigu Namaskara. Today, we are going to talk about the important things to know before going to Finland. So without any further ado, let's get started. Recently, me and my sister went on a 5-day vacation to Lapland, Rovaniemi in December. The trip was really memorable, but I would say that we made some huge blunders, and if we had known them earlier, our trip would have been more comfortable. So today I'm going to give you the tips that you should know before you make your trip to Finland. So first of all, I would say is the accommodation. So we weren't planning to stay in Rovaniemi because we looked at the Airbnb listings and they were really expensive for us. It was about 1,200 euros per night, and our budget was an overall, like, I would say 1,000 to 1,200 euros together. So we were looking for something nearby to Rovaniemi, and Ranova is actually a city in Finland that's actually like just 2 hours away from Rovaniemi. So we thought we could take a bus from there to go to the tourist places and like look around and then come back to our Airbnb there. So it was a fair distance to travel because the prices were really way less. And we booked this Airbnb for about, I think, 80 euros per night. We stayed for about 5 nights, I would say. The thing is, in this, it shows that when you're looking, it comes in the Ranova region. So we thought that it will be in Ranova, and so we just booked, and then we were just packed everything, and we were supposed to board the flight the next day. But we got a message from our host asking us at what time we are going to reach there, and we told that we're going to land in Rovaniemi around 1 p.m. and we're going to take a bus from there to Ranova and reach around 3 p.m. and how far is the cabin in Ranova? And he says that no, there is no public transport to the cabin. So we were like shocked, and I thought maybe we could walk or we could find some other means to go, and then we checked. It's actually 50 minutes away from Ranova. So the big mistake that we did is that we didn't check the description here. In Airbnb, they would have mentioned a description. You can see it here. And that, when you see it, it was specifically written that there is no public transportation for that place. And we missed that. And also, if you go down, you can also see that there is an exact location of the Airbnb. So like you can see it here, and you can check it in the Google Maps, and you can actually estimate the distance and everything. And also check if there's public transport available. So we obviously didn't do that. So we were like really panicking. We just got to know the day before we were boarding the flight. But our host was really kind enough to say that he's gonna pick us up from Ranova and drop us to Airbnb and also like make us all comfortable there. So we were quite relieved for that day, but we weren't knowing what to do like for the rest of the days to explore the city because we neither of us have a driving license. We checked for cab services and they were like costing a bomb, like almost 150 euros for a 15-minute drive. We decided to ask the host itself, like, since he already had a car, and we thought, would you mind taking us just one day to Ranova and back from Ranova to the Airbnb, just one day, so that from Ranova we'll take a bus to Rovaniemi and we will check out all the touristy things that we were supposed to do that day. We also asked him like if he could drop us to the airport on that side. He decided to say yes, and we were like so relieved. He was so generous, and if you really want to book a really good stay and comfortable stay, I think this cabin is really good if you're going for Lapland. I think we had a most comfortable, except there's a story coming, so I'll come to that later. Of course, if you have booked a cabin in a colder region, the amenities are really restricted. You might not see much houses nearby for anything, so you should be really prepared for it. First of all, please take at minimum two charged power banks, because it might be possible that the electricity is powered through solar energy and you're going during the darkest nights of the or the darkest months of the year, so please be prepared for that. And there won't be running water. In our cabin there was no running water, so we actually were provided cans of water, so we used it for drinking, cleaning the utensils and everything. One more thing to note, that the washroom is like biocompostable. It's actually quite far from the place where you like sleep and everything, the cabin actually. So you have to like layer up, go and use the washroom and come back. When we got out of the airport, we actually took a bus from the airport to the city center. It was around 3 kilometers ride, but it costed around €8 per person. So yeah, the public transport prices or the fares are really high in Lapland. In order to check the timings, the schedules of or the number of buses that run that day from one city to another city, you can check this app, because this tells all the details. And you can also buy the ticket from the app, but if your internet is not working for some case or anything, you don't have to worry, directly go to the driver and get the ticket. So that system is really cool. So on our second day in Lapland, we went to Santa Claus village. We reached there around 1 p.m. and immediately we wanted to experience the feeling of crossing Arctic Circle. So you can see there were a lot of people. It was fun, but we did manage to capture some images. Next, we headed to meet Santa Claus. So when we went to the counter and asked how long will it take, for us to get into the queue, and he said the next available time is 5 p.m. But that was not possible because we had to go to the Ranua bus station around 5 p.m. We went and approached them and asked them, see, we have a bus to catch. Is it possible that you could actually give us an exception to enter the queue? And she was considerate enough, she thought, and she said, okay. So we were really excited. The queue was actually quite long, but still it took only about 25 minutes for us to get our turn. We got our photos done, and then we were about to exit, and we thought that we were gonna get a cute small photograph of us sitting next to the Santa Claus, but they charged about €40. And they also mentioned that you can take the internet copies and videos for about €55, but if you want both, you can take for €90. So we thought that, because this is something like we wanted in a physical copy, and this physical copy was really nice. It looked really nice. It showed that we did something, we went to Arctic Circle, so we decided to keep the physical copy. You get about 400 days of time to actually download it. You can pay and download. They actually give a card with a scanner. You can scan and pay and get the photos. And we were hungry by the time, and we wanted to try some Laplish cuisines. There was actually a restaurant that serves Laplish cuisines, and it was a buffet. It was about €29 per person, and we were like, okay, we must try this. We go there and it says it's full. So then later I got to know that you have to reserve the seat the day before. Please make sure that does that restaurant require reservation. Then please do that so that you can enjoy the Laplish cuisine. The other thing I said I should mention, but before booking this cabin, is that we were given a different cabin when we arrived, because it was easier for him to pick us up from this cabin and drop us to the Ranuma. Because the other cabin, actually, you should go over the frozen lake, and it requires snowmobile. If you go by car, it is quite far. When we arrived, it had a lot of, it was snowing a lot, and the snowstorm was really heavy. So he told, yeah, you can stay there since nobody's living right now. But on the last day of your stay here, the other couple is gonna come, and you have to vacate it and go to the cabin that you actually booked. So he took us on a snowmobile. Yeah, that also we got to do it for free. So we both rode the snowmobile, and it was fun. It was about 130 horsepower, and it was really fun. He took us on the frozen lake. Then he took us for fishing, and we had some fun time like waiting for the fish to come to the surface, but unfortunately they didn't. We got into the cabin, And we thought it's gonna get warm in a bit because he just heated up the furnace in the morning, because the cold air was seeping between the wooden pallets. I think they're not well insulated, and it was actually really cold, and there was no electricity. He said it's gonna be only for 30 minutes and you gotta be really careful of the use. And we were like, okay, it's just one day, thank God. And it was quite a struggle the entire day, because it was not that I don't think that cabin is that suitable for winter, but I think it will be really great for summer. But there is a silver lining. We experienced the most magical northern lights on the frozen lake. It's about 40-kilometer wide, and so the sky was so clear and there was no trees blocking the view. So we were actually standing on the frozen lake and enjoying the northern lights dancing. So it was really amazing. So yeah, I would say that if you can warm up yourself really well, you can book that cabin for the winter and, experience the magical northern lights if you're lucky. So in that with that saying, you should make sure that you at least plan the trip for 5 days, because we stayed there for 5 nights, and only the last day of our stay we got to experience this big. Now let's talk about the layering. We layered up really well. That's why we didn't feel that much cold even it was minus 25. So I'll tell you all the things that we wore to keep us warm. First thing, for the bottom, we actually wore a thermal leggings, and it cost about €7 for us. Actually one legging. So, and then we took a thermal. Then we wore jeans pant, so that was enough to keep the legs warm, and also woolen socks for sure. So for the feet, I would say thick boots is really important, especially near the toes. That should be thick, because you're going to keep your legs under the snow for a really long time. It can literally hurt your toes if you're staying outside for a really long time. So make sure that you buy a very thick boots. And for the top, we wore thermals, we wore a woolen cloth, any kind of cloth, either it is a jacket or anything. And then we wore a thin jacket, we wore a thick jacket. So that kept us really, really warm. So our core was really warm. For gloves, I think this is the gloves that I took from Decathlon. It was really effective for us. And also the thermals we took from the Decathlon. I will add all the links in the description that you can check this out. And for the head, so make sure that you cover your head as well, and also your ears, because your head is gonna get really painful because it's too cold and if it is snowing. So make sure you wear a proper cap, and preferably woolen one that keeps you really warm there, and of course a scarf. So these are the things that we used to keep us, it kept us really warm actually. So summing it up, I wish we knew these things earlier, so our trip would have been even more comfortable. But nonetheless, I wish this has prepared you guys really well before you make your trip to Lapland. So thank you guys for your time and watching this video. And if you like this kind of content, please share and like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Namaskar.